Alrighty, today we are on the French countryside just outside of Verdun, or actually what would be all included in the Battle of Verdun. Right now I would have to say we were pushing across the Meuse that you saw on the far left side of the map when the video opened, into some of the French strong points here. I'm playing as an Imperial German medic. Verdun was a microcosm of the war. It showed just the overall strategy was just a pure war of attrition from both sides. One of the costliest as far as the entire war went, as far as casualties to number of participants. As of 2000, the official number was 714,231 casualties on both sides. As of now, with some of the newer information, that number has risen to 976,000, with a total in the area going on from when the war first started till it ended being 1.25 million casualties in this area. Now, not all were deaths, but there was a high percentage that were. It was a Frenchman who wrote that when he arrived at the battlefield, there were 175 men in his unit. After the German artillery attack, he left with 34, just to give you an idea. Another French corporal was reported as saying that of every 5 men, 2 had been buried alive, 2 more were wounded, and the last one was waiting for his inevitable demise. And as you can see, pretty blasted countryside. Some of the towns initially were still standing, as you can see in the background there. But by the end of the war, I want to say there were 7 that had been completely wiped off the map. 9 French towns actually. Nearby towns of Beaumont, Bezuvenois, Comiers, Douaumont, Fleury, Houmont, Lovemont, Ornier, and Vaux were pretty much leveled. You have to picture that at the beginning, the onset, February 21st, 1916, when the battle began, 8 a.m. in the morning, Germans let loose with 1,220 pieces of artillery, and in the preceding 9 hours, by 4 p.m., they had fired over 1 million shells into the French countryside. That was averaging 40 heavy shell blasts per minute. On top of that, they also put up a net of 168 aircraft, meaning that this was one of the first times that there had been a joint ground and major air campaign at the same time. Now, early aircraft were not as crucial to ground support as it is today, but what it did do was it cut the French eyes. They had no idea if they had no artillery spotting. Couple that with the fact that bombardment had severed every telephone line, every telegram line, every way of communicating from the front back to the French artillery. The French troops on the ground had no artillery support. You'll notice that I say artillery support. Artillery support in the First World War was what made up for the lack of a lot of other technologies that we take for granted on a modern battlefield today. Close air support, armor support. They just didn't have it back then. The technologies had not been developed. Most of the tanks at the time broke down. They very rarely got to where they needed to get to in a functioning state. And as you can see, it was, again, with everything in that war, it was truly a brutal war of attrition. This was Germany's attempt to bleed France white and win the war just by killing more of them. And that's what we have for today.